Hello guys, welcome back into another guide. Today we do Regulus, which is the last one on the trio of characters available in the beginner banner. Now, before we begin, I just wanted to remind you guys that I'm streaming on Twitch almost every day, 2 to 3 hours. And if you want to go and follow, that would be nice. If you don't, that's fine. Just so you know, right? So if you have like any question to ask and I'm streaming, you can go there, right? And or like chill with me, we can play the game, or like talk about the game and stuff like that. It's alright. The usual that you do on Twitch. Now, let's go back and begin the guide. Now, Regulus has a little bit of a situation. Not a negative one, but it's like important to understand what Regulus' role is and what she brings into the table. You will learn at the end of the guide, of this guide, that Regulus is not exactly what she looks like she is, like a DPS. I don't think personally she's a DPS. You could use her as a main DPS, but if you have a better one, like a more selfish, a more active DPS, you should put Regulus as a support DPS. Now you might say like, what the hell, support DPS? Why? She doesn't give anything almost, right? She must be a DPS. Now you can use her as a DPS, but the problem is that she doesn't act every single turn. You can, but she doesn't want to, because you're gonna miss on Restless Heart passive, which is the first mechanic that you unlock at Insight 1. Restless Heart just means that critical rate plus 50%, excess critical rate is converted to critical damage, and this, like you probably heard me saying in other videos, this sentence here has to be here for the mechanics to work. Like if a character doesn't say that it converts, it's not going to convert. You can have 200 critical rate and it's not going to convert in critical damage, the exceeding, right? This one does. So if you have 150% critical rate on Regulus, that extra 50% is going to go to critical damage. So she basically funnels some extra rate on the critical damage, and having a high critical rate is really easy with Regulus because she has critical rate plus 50% if you do not act in a round. So you want to use any other character but Regulus, don't play any of her cards so she doesn't act, and at the end of the round you will gain Restless Heart that you can use in the next round. So one round you don't do anything, the next round you get the Restless Heart and you do your DPS, right? Now, the problem is that she doesn't act every other turn, which is good in terms of AP generosity, but at the same time it's gonna slow down the fight a lot. I have a second account with Regulus in it, and on all of the stages I noticed that it takes me 3 or maybe even 4 sometimes if they're not weak to star extra turns to clear compared to my Lilia main account. Now granted, my Lilia on my main account, I got extremely lucky. I have Lilia P2, Ananli and Medicine Pocket, but even when I just had Lilia P2, because I got two Lilia in one temple, so I started with double Lilia. Even when I just had double Lilia and Beacon Bloom and Medicine Pocket, she would clear way faster because like you want to spam with Lilia, you want to get like the skills down and stuff. Now Regulus doesn't want to do that. Also on the ult percentage is really low. I mean it's not really low, but it's not insane. So it's an okay percentage. But look at this. Her mass attack on the ult has the same percentage of scale of mental damage than her attack or her normal spell at level 2. Level 2. So the P1 Sleepless Rave is gonna give you 100 more percent mental damage. So if you for some reason manage to get her P1, it gets a little bit better on the damage side. But she also inflicts Riot and Roll status on all allies for one round. Riot and Roll is really good, and it's one of the reasons why you could use her as a support DPS, because she does do damage, and she also supports a little bit in the sense that she doesn't use many AP, so you have of room, plenty of rounds to use your main DPS and spam their cards. And she applies Riot and Roll, which is a dodge. But be careful, because this dodge, read here what it says. Dodges any non-ultimate attack, dispels the effect after the caster, any caster, takes action. After the caster takes action. So, you want to do the ult at the end, or at least do not put any other action after you put for Regulus after you do your ult. So you have other cards that you want to play, let's say, because let's say Restless Hearts is triggered. You have the ult and you have like another card that is like Tear for the Ears, Treat for the Ears, level 3. You want to cast Treat first, then Sleepless Rave, and then nothing else about Regulus. Because if you cast something else, you're gonna dispel the Riot and Roll. So be careful about that. You can use other cards instead of Regulus. It's still gonna work. It's fine, but be careful on that one. Also, Regulus is mental. So when it comes to team building, you need to try to make a mental-oriented team, which means that now we're going into the mental realm, which implies that you cannot use Beacon Bloom anymore if you have her, because Beacon Bloom, I mean, you can, but you're gonna miss on a big one because Beacon Bloom reduces reality defense. Sure, gives you damage taken, but reality defense, you're gonna miss this. So the better option would be to use Babyblue instead, which is this one, Babyblue. If you have, the more you have, the better it is. She also applies Nightmare on her ult if the enemy is debuffed, which it will be, because she has a ton of debuffs, as you can see. The attack level 2 reduces the mental death, and the debuff card, which is just always a debuff, it's damage minus 15 from the monster. They deal less damage and they take more damage for 2 rounds. So Babyblue is the best option for Regulus. Or if you don't have Babyblue, you can use Erick, or you can use also Matilda. Now I wouldn't use Matilda, even though it was one of my favorite characters, but Matilda doesn't have a way to get portraits. Doesn't have a way to get portraits. So you can't increase her stats by getting more copies of her for now. Until 1.4, even 1.4, still don't have any way to get Matilda portraits. I don't know why, what happened to Matilda, but it is what it is. So Matilda is another crit reliant character, like she wants to crit, and she applies confusion, which is good for Regulus, because Regulus is a crit character, right? Because she gets like she gets an easy crit, and that's why the ult is probably this low, even though in my opinion makes no sense. It should be at least 500%, at least 500, because you can just do Treat for the Ears. I don't know. Matilda applies confusion. Why would you use Matilda? Like she applies confusion, which is minus critical resist. So basically, if you have this, they have confusion on the enemy, and Regulus has Restless Hearts, that's gonna be 75% chance of crit. So that's gonna help. Now, this is just for her, just for Matilda, so this is not gonna apply anything. Now, as a healer, the only mental healer, unless I'm losing my mind over here, the only mental healer, I think it's, what is it? What is she? Beast. Okay, Dikke. You're gonna get Dikke for free. Now, it's not 8 days yet, so you don't have Dikke unless you got Dikke from any pool. If you do have Dikke, use Dikke as a healer. Otherwise, you have to use someone else. If you have to use someone else, you have maybe Medicine Pocket. Medicine Pocket is reality. No, Medicine Pocket is mental. So you have a daze. You can use Medicine Pocket if you have them. Debuff, damage taken, so it applies. It's not just reality stuff. And sturdiness for less damage taken for you. Daze, which is always good. Moxie +1 for them. They're mental, so you can use Medicine Pocket if you have. You can use Dikke if you have Dikke. Otherwise, if you don't have anyone, I don't know. If you don't have anyone, you can use maybe Lasurs. Lasurs is mental, right? Surely. Lasurs surely is, she's mental. Yeah, she is. Mental. She does some... Bro, Lasers, I mean, it's one target. Whatever, never mind. Moxie -2 for the target, that's pretty good. You can remember that you don't have to use your 6 stars sometimes. You can just use whatever character you need to achieve your goal. So if there is a monster that is spamming ults and you game overing over it, you can just use Lasers and use like the ult and try to do that way. Someone that reduces the moxie of the enemy. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't apply anything crit related, but you can use her as a healer. So as support DPS, you can use maybe Erick. Let's see Erick. Erick is star, right? Yeah. She's reality, so keep that in mind. She disarms and dispels on the ult. She has a debuff that reduces the critical resist rate and critical defense, so she makes it easier to crit. But you need to choose her or Matilda, so it depends on how you want to approach it. So like -25 is higher than confusion. Oh wait, no, is that the same? I think it's the same than for confusion, right? Matilda is star 5. Matilda is star 5. Yes, the same. So it doesn't matter, right? So if you want to do Matilda, do Matilda. If you have many copies of Erick, maybe Erick is better because of the stats that you might have higher. She's good as a 4-star. She's good. She reduces the critical resist rate and critical defense, and that's it. Now, when it comes to Psychubes, we're getting to the same concept as Lilia a little bit, in the sense that you want to do. Let's go Psychubes. In the sense that you want to do Thunderous Applause, classic Thunderous Applause. You can use this. You can buy this the moment you get it, or the moment you get the selector, or you can get Brave New World for the incantation might. Since the ult doesn't do much damage, but the card does, you kind of want this instead of Hopscotch, because Hopscotch is the opposite. It gives you, when you defeat an enemy, gives you ultimate might, but the ultimate might is not that good because the percentage is 300. So you kind of want incantation plus 20, right? Or 40 if you level it up. But when you do the ultimate, incantation plus 20. So you can also do some. If you have trouble in healing, maybe you can do Bounden Duty. So like you kill someone and you get plus HP, which is equal to your 60% of your attack, and it becomes 120 if you level it up. If you don't know how to level it up, it's the Serpent, by the way. When you go get the Serpent, if you buy the snake on what is it? Fragment shop, the Gluttony. This desire hidden, it can be used to increase the Psychube amplification level by 1. You can buy this. It's very expensive, but you can buy it, and you can amplify it in case you didn't know. So yeah, Bounden Duty, you can do Thunderous Applause, you can do Brave New World. When it comes to 5-star, you can do Afternoon Nap. You can maybe do... What can you do? Footloose? Nah. The code, Yinning Desire, maybe Yinning Desire. If the target is has negative status, you deal more damage when you attack. So like you put this on Regulus, and if you have Babyblue, you debuff them constantly. So this is always gonna be up. It's an option, but I think Afternoon Nap is kind of good, because like if the target critical hits, which is common with Regulus, especially if you have a supporter that enables her, the carrier gains critical damage plus 10%, and it stacks up to 4 times, so you get 12% critical damage, which is not as good as Thunderous Applause, but it's more affordable. So if you want to buy some other 6-star for another character, then you can put the Apple light Psychube on Regulus, right? Light. I was saying Lightcone like Honkai Star Rail. I don't know why. I still have this fucking bug in my mind. So yeah, I don't think there is anything else. Let's do a little wrap up. Regulus, she's okay as a main DPS. She probably shines more as a secondary DPS. because she's a P friendly, which is a blessing and a curse, because a P friendly means that you don't use too many cards, which enables her to be not at main DPS, and you still do a lot of damage because you can do DPS, Regulus, or someone else, right, a healer. So she gives us a dodge on her ult on everybody, but not always this dodge is useful on early game, because like you get like you don't take too much damage, so maybe in boss fights is more useful. Keep that in mind. The percentage on the ult is a little low in my opinion. She does a lot of DPS. She removes Moxie if she crits on attack 2 and 3. Actually, I actually forgot to say this. Yeah, so now you know. Thank fuck I did the wrap up. Restless Heart you want to trigger, which is plus 50% critical rate, so you don't want to act for one turn, which means that as a main DPS you're gonna slow down the fight a lot, and it's gonna feel kind of weird in my opinion. So Psychube, Thunderous Applause, Brave New World, Bound and Duty if you want, as a 5-star. The Apple one, I always forget the name of the Apple one. An Afternoon Nap, or maybe Yearning Desire, but that's we're getting into the niche I don't have anything else type of situation. As a support DPS is for Regulus, in case you play her as main DPS, because that's all you have, right? Erick, Babyblue main, Babyblue immediately. If you don't have Babyblue, Erick or Matilda. Erick instead of Matilda, if you have many copies of Erick, I feel like it's probably better, even though, yeah, I think it's the same. And then as a healer, you can use Dikke, you can use Medicine Pocket if you have, you can use Tooth Fairy whenever she comes out. So yeah, any healer, at the end of the day, any healer, right? But if you don't have any healer, you don't have Dikke, you can use La Source. She's a 3-star healer. She's mental as well. So yeah, I think that's it for the Regulus guide. If you have any other question, or maybe I forgot to say something, let me know in the comments. Leave a like if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see more videos about this, Reverse 1999, or maybe other videos as well, will coming on with other games as well on the side. Reverse is gonna stay like this, and then we're gonna introduce some other videos on the sides. If you want to watch them, it's up to you. So the stuff still gacha games, but other stuff, other games, let's say, that I'm still play, like Star Rail, Nick, stuff like that. And if you want to follow my Twitch, if you want to say hi, like hang out on Twitch, the twitch.tv/Jakazin. I appreciate it if you do. But yeah, video's over. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.